Hello guys, welcome back. We all know that Ansible is one of the widely used CM and CD tool in the current market. Same time, we should have knowledge on working on various operating systems with Ansible. Today, we'll see how we can manage the Windows server using Ansible. So let's start. Before starting, let's see what are the platforms used and what are the prerequisites to be followed. We have used here AWS Cloud, and we have used Ubuntu Linux 20.0 to install the Ansible and create Ansible server. So this is the EC2 instances we have used. At the same time, we have used the Windows server to make our node machine where we are going to execute the playbook on the Windows machine to manage the Windows server. That is 2022, and this is the EC2 instance from the AWS. And what is the prerequisite? You should have at least some basic knowledge on the Ansible, should have knowledge how to install it and how to execute few commands and write the playbooks. Okay, so let's start. Before starting this writing the playbooks and writing the inventory, let's see the basic steps to set up in the Windows server. So I have this Windows machines ready with me. Now let's go to the PowerShell. We have to just use PowerShell command prompt to set up the listener and all, right? So just go to the Windows PowerShell here and make sure that Windows PowerShell, whenever you just open it, and it should be with the administrator user. Okay, it should be administrator. So now once you open this administrator user, this PowerShell, and make sure that that particular listener has been opened, that HTTP and HTTPS. So if we just go to the documentations, right, of this particular setting of Windows host in the Ansible documentations, you can see here how can we set up the winrm in the Windows. Now let's go to the winrm setup here. And we have here what it says, you need to configure the winrm service so that Ansible can connect to it. So basically we need this listener and services to be there in the Windows server. Okay, so what we need in this Windows server, what we have to do, we have to just first check whether the both HTTP and HTTPS listeners are available or not. So to use this one, we can just use the command winrm winrm. Okay, then config listener. Okay, hit enter. So it will just give us the listeners available. Now you can see I have only one HTTP listener available, and this is the port 5985. This is the port 5985. So what we need the HTTPS listener also to be there. So let's first go ahead and set up the HTTPS listener. For that, we need certificate to be there, one SSL certificates to be created, right? So let me just go with, I have some procedures created for that. So what I can do here, I have some steps. I'll just add these steps in our comment sections below, descriptions. You can just get this one and just type it on your phone. So let me just copy this particular line. Okay, now let's paste it here. And what it says, so we have to just use new self-signed certificate and DNS name. So now we have to provide the DNS name. What we have to do, just remove this particular text from here and put the actual DNS name, right? So where I can get this actual DNS name, let's go to the server here and go to the Windows machine, and we have to see here we have this public IPv4 DNS, right? Just copy this one and go to the Windows machine, just paste it here, and we have the DNS name, and now just hit enter. First, it will just sign the certificate for us. This is the self-signed certificate, and it will get stored under this local machine and mine, right? Now, what we can do here, see, it generated one ThumbPrint. So it generated one. Let me just maximize it. So what happened? It generated one ThumbPrint here. Now, what we need, we have to just whitelist the port 5985 and 5986. Remember, 5985 is the HTTP and 5986 is for HTTPS. So make sure those two ports are get whitelist in the Windows server. So if I go to the Windows server security section here. In the security sections, we have the security groups, right? And if you just make sure that in the inbound rule, we have this winrm-http and winrm-https, both the protocols and both the port range, right? 85 and 86 are whitelisted. So I have already done this whitelisting. So if you have not yet done, you have to do it first. Now what you can do, let's go here and we have to execute another command to create the HTTPS listener. So we got the certificate, right? Now we need this command to be executed to create the HTTPS listener. Now let's paste it here. What I have to do, we have to just change some text here, like the DNS name, right? The DNS name, whatever we had just given. Let's remove this particular part and we need this particular DNS name to be. Let's copy this one and paste it here. And same time, we have to provide the thumbprint also, right? We have to provide the thumbprint. So here is the thumbprint. Let's copy this particular, make sure there is no spaces. Copy exactly the text, right? Copy this and we have to remove this part, thumbprint, from here and paste it. Done. Hit enter. Now it says resource created and this transport protocol is HTTPS selector is created. Now what we have to do, once it is created, we have to add into the new firewall rule, right? So just go here and execute this command to add this particular port into the firewall sections 5986. Hit enter. Done. It says okay. Now it says okay. Now if I just go ahead and check whether we have this HTTPS listener added or not, let's go ahead, winrm enumerates e and just check winrm again /config/listener, right? And here I gave one space which is wrong. Yes, good. Now we can see we have our HTTPS protocol or HTTPS listener added into the machine with the certificate thumbprint. Now what you can do, all this setup has been done. Before we do and proceed with that, make sure that listener has been set up correctly, and same time also the services also would have been set up. If I just go and check the services, right, let's remove this particular part. Let me clear these sections. Okay, let me clear it out so that it will be visible clearly. So let's clear this one. Now if I just do again winrm and get winrm/config. Okay, now we can see here the services. We have this particular all the config details and we have the services, right? Services and winrm. So this service we have this authentications type, basic, and all the details, right? So make sure that the services also been there. Now let's move into the Ansible server and do the required setup. So let's connect to the Ansible server. So here we'll create our inventory. So let's create sudo vi. So I'll create as winhost.ini. Okay. Now what we have to do, let's create a group. Like I'll just create as win. Okay. And what we have to do here, we have to put the IP address of the Windows server. So get the IP address. So here I have the Windows EC2 instances and you can see here the public IP. Just copy this one and paste it here. Okay. To connect to the Windows server, we need some variables to be set because we need the Windows ISO ID, password, and the port, the connection time. All these details is required to set up. So what we can do here, let's write and create a variables group here. Suppose I'll do it as win:\vars, right? Now we have to just use it Ansible variables, right? So like Ansible underscore user, okay, and then the user for Windows default user is administrator, right? Administrator. So we have to type correctly administrator. Now we have to do the Ansible this password and all, right? So I have just kept it here the details of the passwords and her. Let me copy this password details for the Windows server and copy paste it here. So here we can see, so not colon, here we have to provide it here equal symbol, right? So let's come out from here. Okay. Now what you can see here, we have this Ansible user, administrator, and Ansible password here, right? And here the complete text format, the Ansible password, and here Ansible port, and the connection type, right? And the transport is basic and all. So here you can see we have just given the plain text password, which is not actually good way to set up the password. So don't worry, I'll show you how we can hide this, encrypt this password using Ansible vault also. Okay, for the timing, let's see how we can connect to the Ansible server. Now what I have done here, I have just put the IP address of the Windows server here and the required variables, right, to connect to the Windows server. Now save this Ansible inventory file. Okay, now I have created the inventory file. Let's try to ping the server, whether we are able to ping the server or not, Windows server, right? So what we can do, we can use Ansible and just provide the inventory file name. So in our case, it is winhosts.ini, and we have to provide the group name here and the module. So for Windows, it is actually win_ping, win_ping. Now let's hit enter. Okay, so what we are getting here, we are getting the server is unreachable, and what is age? Basic, the specified credentials were rejected by the server. So when you see this type of error, basic and the specified credentials were rejected by the server, make sure that on the Windows side, right, Windows server, the service for the basic authentication, super basic auth is true. Okay, so what we have to do, let's log in back to the Windows server. Okay, and here just go to the PowerShell again, PowerShell, and in Windows PowerShell, make sure that you are logged in as administrator. So what you can do, just check with winrm get winrm/config. Okay. So you can see here, if you see the service type, right, in the service we have the authentication auth here, and the basic is false, right? So what we have to do, we have to make this basic false to true in order to get access. So what you can do, we have to write the command. So the command is, let me just paste it here. So it is set-item-force man, and you have to provide this particular service authentication basic path here, and make sure you are just giving it as $true. Okay, now hit enter. Now I just set the item, this basic service to true. Okay, so once you hit enter, it set the authentication basic to true. Now let's execute the other command to check whether it is done or not. So if you see here, now it had changed from false to true. So the authentication, the basic service has been made it to true. Now let's go to the Ansible server. Okay, so here what we can do, let's ping it again. So this time we should get a pong, right? So it should be success. See here, we got success and we got a ping path. So now we can able to successfully connect or ping to the Windows server. Now we are done. So now let's go ahead and write some playbook, some task in the playbook. Let me write it down. So I'll just use sudo vi. So I'll ask winplay and YAML. Okay, hit enter. So let me write it down, something like this, and the name equal to, I'll give working with Windows server. Now the hosts. So the hosts we have Win server, right? Win, and here we have to write the tasks, right? Here we have to write the task. So give the tasks here, tasks. Okay, and all these tasks we have to give a name to it. Name. Suppose I'll just create a directory. let's create a directory. So to create a directory, we have to use the Windows module called win_file. So how you will get this module name? So if you just go to the Ansible documentations of the WinFile module, right? So here you can see we have this WinFile module. We have, it gives right all the details how we can create it. Just go to the documentations and to the WinFile module, the module sections, and you'll find how to use this one. Here the state, you have to give it directory, and the path you have to specify which path is required to be created, right? Here is the example it has given. They have given it here, so you have to just use this particular module, win_file, and then path you have to give which folder or directory you want to create it, right? Let's go ahead and give a win file and just give the path, right? Just hit enter. Let me just give path here, and I'll give us, suppose I'll give us a C directory and temp. Okay, like this. Let me copy this, right? Let me copy this one. Okay, I'll give like demo folder, and here the state you have to make it as directory. So here it is given like to create a directory, just given directory. And the same thing, if you see it here in the state also, we have to directory. So directory is to immediate subdirectories or to be created if does not exist. Okay, so what if I just created here one directory here or one folder. If you want to create multiple subfolders also, you can just provide it, so it will create automatically if they don't exist. Okay, now I just created directory. So now let's go ahead and create a file inside that directory. So what I can do here, I'll just let's create another task here. Let's create another task. Suppose I'll add your name, create a file, okay. Now what I can do here, typo is okay, not a problem, because it's just definitions here. Create file, just a name. Now what I can do here, in name I just use same win_file module. Okay, there are multiple other modules available, you can use them. So win file, and you have to provide the path where you are just want to create the file, right? The file name and all. The same folder, suppose I'll create the file in the same folder here, and the file name, suppose demo. I'll just give us windemo.txt. Okay, and here the state we have to provide it as state, and I have to give us touch to create a blank or empty file. Okay, so if you see here, we have this touch command, right? State touch, so just create the empty file. Okay, so if it is not present, it will create the empty file. So it's a very simple task or simple play. I have written it here. So let's go ahead and execute and see whether it is creating or not. Okay, now let me save this particular file here. Done. Now I can execute it. Let's use Ansible playbook, right? And just give the inventory -I. So inventory is winhost.ini, and just give the playbook name, winplay.yaml. Now hit enter. So what it says, we are unable to read either the JSON YAML. Okay, there seems some syntax error. Let's open the file. Is a sudo vi, and if you see here, okay, so here we have some extra spaces here, right? Now let's delete this space. Okay, save this file. Let's execute the same command again. So Ansible playbook, and provide the inventory name here and the playbook. Okay, let's hit enter. Now we can see here, now the play is getting executed and just working on. Just hold on for a few seconds. It will connect to the Windows server and just creating the data. You can see here, it's just creating the directory, and then it's just creating the file. So here it is. You can see it has changed 2 items there. Now let's go to the Windows server. So our execute Ansible play has been successfully run. Now let's go to the Windows server and check whether it has created the file or not. Okay. Now if I go to the Windows server, let's go to the folder here and C drive. temp folder, right? So here you can see it has created a demo folder, and inside we have a file called demo.txt. We have a file called demo.txt. So it was just created a demo.txt here, and if I just want to create another file, let's do some changes to that. Okay, now if I just do some modify to our Windows file, let's playbook file, right? Vi and win play. So here, suppose I'll just go with win demo here, right? I'll go with win demo.txt. Save it. Now let's execute the file again. What it will do, it will create another file, another blank file or empty file in that same folder, right? So here you'll see here it will have only one changes. Similarly, you can add more modules, whatever modules you want to add it there based on a requirement, you can add it. Now, if I go to the Windows server here and check, see, we have this win demo text file is created. Now, so what we have done so far, we have, if I just open the inventory file, right? If I just open the inventory file, and this inventory file has plain text password, which is not good. This is not a good way of coding, right? It's a security breach. So what we can do, we can, using the Ansible Vault, we can encrypt this password. So let's see how we can do that. Let's save this file. Sorry, it's a read-only file. Now what we can do, we can just create first let me copy this password, right? We need this password to be encrypted. Let's copy this, and what I can do here, use Ansible. Before that, what we can do, we just create a directory here. We have to create a directory called group vars. Okay, so I'll just use sudo mkdir group underscore vars. So let's go inside to the group underscore vars here, and here we have to create a file called win.yaml. So here in this win.yaml, we have to keep the encrypted string here, encrypted password. So because these group variables will be applicable for all the variables based on the group name we have created, right? You remember we have this win group name in our inventory file, right? So let me just show you that one. Let me just show you. So if I just go to this, let's cat it, win host. Sorry, it's not in here. Let's go back. So we have, if I do win host here, we have, see, what we have this win group, right? And this is the win variables. Similarly, we have to create the file called win.yaml. So before creating the file, let's first encrypt the password. First encrypt the password. Let's copy this password of this string. What I can use, you can just use Ansible Vault. Let me clear it out. Ansible Vault. Okay. What I can do, and you can just encrypt this string and provide the string name here. Suppose I'll just give the string over here is this one, and I have to give a name. That name is the Ansible underscore password. Okay, so Ansible underscore password. So what I gave here, I just use Ansible underscore password, and you can see here Ansible Vault and encrypt string. So there is the documentations in the string Ansible string also. You can just go here and check here. We have this protecting sensitive variables with Ansible Vault, and the same things encrypt string and how you can use it. So you can follow this documentation to do that. Now I just hit enter. So it just asks for the password. So I'll give like confirm the password. Now I got this Ansible Vault Ansible password, and this is the encryption, and this encryption is successful. Now I need this particular line to be copied. Let's copy this one and create a file under groups bar. Let's go to the groups bar. So what I can do, I can just use sudo vi groups bar, I can go to the groups bar, and here I can just create win.yaml file. So here, now what I can do, I just, as this is the YAML file, 3 dashes here, and paste it. Now what you can see here, our Ansible underscore password has been pasted here successfully, right? Now let's save this file. We have this particular win.yaml file is added. Now what we can do, we can just remove the line of Ansible underscore password from the inventory. So let's delete this particular line. Now save it. Now we don't have password visible here, right? Now save this line. So once you save it, how will you execute this one? So let's execute the playbook again, Ansible playbook, and we have used the win host and win play, and here we have to just put ask the vault password, ask vault password, vault pass. Okay, ask vault pass. So what we'll do, while executing, we are giving another security the vault password, because when we created this vault encrypted the string, we provided this password, right? We have to provide that password in order to get this string from the file, right? So hit enter. We have to provide the vault password here. Now you can see here it's executing the playbook, and it's just connecting to the server and just executing the playbooks here. Now simple, but here what we are doing it here, we are just giving this ask vault password every time while doing it. But how we can save this password, vault password, in a secure manner? What we can do, we can create one hidden file here. Suppose I can just create it as a sudo dot hidden file, just vault something pass dot txt, something like this. I put it here, and let's open it in the vi editor. Sorry, open the vi editor and put the password here. The password I had given as Ranjit123. Simple, right? Now save it. So I created the hidden file under etc Ansible, and this is a hidden file. If I do ls-l, will not see anything, right? If I do ls-la, will find this particular file. Now what we have to do now, this particular line path we have to add into the ansible.cfg. Let's open this ansible.cfg file, vi ansible.cfg. Now let's search for vault underscore password file. Yeah, so you can see here the vault underscore password file is commented here. Just uncomment this particular line and put the path of the file where the txt file where we put the password vault password, right? Now let's add this, like the file name is what was the file name? The file name we had created it as vault pass.txt. Let's copy this one. Okay, to go here, and we can just add the vault pass.txt. You can provide the path, the absolute path here where you have kept it, as it is kept under the Ansible directory. I just put it here like this, right? Or you can just simply give the absolute path over here. Suppose I have kept it under etc Ansible, right? We can give it like this. Now let's save this file. Okay, now let's execute the play again. Okay, before playing in this one, let me just modify something into the playbook, right? So vi win play, and here suppose I'll create another file. Let me create another windemo second file. Okay, now let's save this one, and this time we don't need this ask vault password, right? So what we can do, we can simply hit enter. So see, it did not ask for any vault password, even it's not required, right? It will automatically get that from the file where we saved the vault password, and it will work. Now it has done some changes. Let's go to the Windows server and check. See, we have this windemo second file also generated. So this is how, guys, you have to work and do the setup with Ansible and Windows Server. Hope you guys understood clearly how to write and how to do the complete setup with the Windows and Ansible. If you have any doubt or any concerns, please do write me in the comment section below. I'll try to answer your queries. If you have not yet subscribed my channel, please do subscribe now so that you'll get notified when I add more videos on my channel. Thank you.